Hi and welcome to the gwEmbassy. I'm gwEm. It's nice to be back talking to you all. A couple of weeks ago I did an ambient guitar jam and a few people actually messaged me about how I put that sound together. But before I do that, I'm going to talk quickly about the guitar I used, which is a Fender Stratocaster. Now, you don't need to use a Stratocaster for ambient guitar, but it's what I prefer personally because the volume control is here and it can naturally be moved as you play with your small finger like that. And I find that technique is very good for volume swells. But you don't need to use a Stratocaster. You can use a volume pedal, and I explain that as well. Let's start by going through the pedal board here. First of all, there's this Morley volume pedal. I have an Ibanez Mini 850 Fuzz. I have an Electro Harmonics Oceans 3 Verb. I have an Ibanez Mini analog delay, an MXR Phase 95. Finally, a TC Electronic Hall of Fame Mini, and that all goes into a DI box and into the mixer. The mixer is set with a completely flat EQ. The main part of the sound is coming from the fuzz and the analog delay. Let me show you the fuzz to begin with. I wouldn't say it's harsh, but I've set it up so that it's quite bright. The 850 Fuzz is a big muff style pedal, and nearly any big muff can sound pretty much like that. I do slightly prefer that one though, which is why I've gone for it. And then with the analog delay, what I like about the analog delay is the repeats are very muted. They sit down in the mix. They're quite subtle. Each one is a little bit different than the last as well, and I think that variation gives extra texture. Or maybe I am just kidding myself, who knows? I will show you this volume pedal. When you've got a Strat, you don't necessarily, I think, need a volume pedal because you can use the volume control on the guitar, but with a volume pedal you can use any guitar at all for this type of sound, and it can be a bit easier as well than using the volume on the Strat. Here is just using the volume on the Strat. And it's pretty much the same with the volume pedal as well. Some people, they like to put the volume pedal after the fuzz. Now I will switch it round so you can see the difference. I personally am not quite such a fan. The reason is that if you have the volume pedal before, then as you fade in, distortion gradually increases as well, which is something that I actually quite like. But just to demo it, here is with the volume pedal after. I don't know, it's subtle. I prefer it the other way around though, so I'm going to switch it back. But you might prefer it like this. It pays to experiment with these things. Pedal order does affect the sound. I would say the next most important pedal, it's probably this Oceans 3 Verb. Now I'm basically using this like a infinite sustain pedal, like a Freeze or a Super Ego. I had a Freeze pedal. I traded it with a friend many years ago, and I got the Super Ego. I recently tried the Oceans 3 Verb in a shop, and I prefer it even to the Super Ego, and the main reason is that there's actually a tone control, so you can filter your infinitely sustained note on the pedal itself. When I had the pedal on, I've got the reverb time at maximum, which creates the infinite sustain. Now I can dial back the tone and have it sound less bright. So at this point there's a drone going on, we've got the delay, we've got the fuzz, we can start to jam a little bit. And that's already pretty good. I'm going to kick on now the MXR Phase 95. I tried so many phases and I always come back to MXR Phase 90 style pedals. I even have a MXR Phase 90 copy by Our Moon, which sounds just as good as a real Phase 90, but this is something quite special. So first of all, you can switch here between a Phase 45 and a Phase 90. And you can switch here between script mode and block mode. In case you don't know, block mode sounds a bit bolder. It's got feedback in the phasing circuit and the effect is a little bit stronger. With script it's more subtle. You can already hear that swirling. And finally, the Hall of Fame reverb. I found I was only using one preset the whole time, and I didn't need to have the complete thing, so I got the mini and saved a bit of space. In case you're wondering what the preset is called, it is called Beyond the Stars, and it is a preset by a guy called Tony Gray. Let me put that on. If I turn all of them off, except for the fuzz and the reverb, it's actually not that much of a spectacular sounding reverb. It's all the other things together in combination with this that give the sound. The analog delay with that is the secret, I think. This is a setup that is a work in progress. You can see these are all mini pedals. I didn't set out to make them all mini pedals, but that is just how it turned out, and they do look cool and small and handy like that. Well, I hope that was of interest to some of you. If you are into ambient guitar, there is a great channel called Chords of Orion, which I'll link to. He has loads of tips on his channel. He responds to comments and stuff. He seems like a really friendly guy. If you like this, smash a like. Think about subscribing would be cool. And yeah, hope to see you soon. Take care.